If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine, and maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them, from disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Who she's going to choose, George or Maddie. And she kept going back to Maddie. And honest to God, I was like, girl, like, you've walked out of that apartment building like how many times? Just leave for good. It was just like, I was like, this has nothing to do with, it's whether or not which man is listening to you talk about what you're going to do in the next phase of your life. Like, I felt bad for her character, because I was like, oh my God, you couldn't have written a better script for her. And then we have George, who's literally going through a meltdown at work.
Yeah.
He is being indicted with the federal court, and he's happy-go-lucky, like nothing's, like, I'm just kind of like, what is happening? We have no idea. It's bizarre.
Welcome to the Rom-Com Rewind Podcast.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Devin.
And like you, I love rewatching movies over and over again.
You made it here. You found us. I'm gonna assume you love romantic comedies. We do as well.
So this is a show where we rewatch rom-coms, break them down a bit for you, maybe take a peek behind the curtain, dig beneath the surface, and decide, does it still hold up?
Today we have
How Do You Know?
And if you're listening to us on Spotify, make sure you follow, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, leave a review. Anywhere that you can leave reviews, we love to see those and we love to respond to them. And they help other people find us. So they're very, very good. And if you want to reach out to us about anything specific, at Romcom Rewind on Instagram and on TikTok. We got a message from Sophia a little while ago saying, hey, I love you guys so much. You have no idea how badly I've always wanted the inside scoop on my favorite movies, but didn't know where to find it. You have found us. We are where that happens. Thanks so much for making my dreams come true. She would like us to do Morning Glory or How to Be Single or Cinderella Story. They're her favorites. So How Do You Know is a 2010 romantic comedy directed by James L. Brooks, also written and produced by James L. Brooks. He's a Simpsons developer. He also worked on Broadcast News, Terms of Endearment, Spanglish. How Do You Know is the story of three people. Lisa Jorgensen, played by Reese Witherspoon. She's a softball player who, in the first few minutes of the movie, we learn her softball career, it's on the rocks. We also meet Matty Reynolds, played by Owen Wilson. He is a pitcher for the Washington Nationals, and he may be in the midst of trying to spark a relationship with Lisa. And then we also meet George Madison, played by Paul Rudd. He was given Lisa's number by a friend of hers, but George, however, going through some tough times with some legal action against the company he manages with his dad, Charles Madison, played by Jack Nicholson. And we've got a classic love triangle scenario here. So what are your thoughts on How Do You Know?
Most girls' plan is meet a guy, love, have a baby, but I don't know if I have what it takes for everybody's regular plan.
Son,
I have some disturbing news.
what?
I'll wait till you get here.
Tell me. Please, it would be nice to get one piece of bad news without someone studying my face to see how I'm taking it.
They are going to indict you.
George? How are you?
Good to see you.
Yeah.
So this movie was cute, but honestly, I really didn't like it that much. It was a bit too long, and I wanted to like it more than I did. So
Have we found the first movie that Sarah genuinely doesn't like?
maybe, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yes.
this is the moment.
I wanted to like it, but I really didn't. There really wasn't much there for me at all. It didn't resolve any any of the plot line. The plot line was lacking. I feel like I left the movie the same way I came into it. Except
Which
that,
is what?
well, with no story, not knowing what the movie was about. I hadn't seen this one before. I don't know. The flow of the movie wasn't great. What could save the movie, I guess, would be the actors.
Yeah.
But that was pretty much it.
Wow.
Unfortunately.
I'm looking through our catalog of episodes. I don't think you've disliked a movie, not this much ever. But like we're going back to episode 28, Love Guaranteed. I think maybe we had some holes to...
yeah, we had holes to poke.
But Sarah still liked it.
But I
Okay.
still liked it. I thought it was a cool I thought it was a cool concept.
Okay.
But even this, like, there was no imagination to it.
No, don't hold back, Sarah. Tell us how you really feel. Wow, this is amazing.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but like, there was nothing there for me other than the actors and
This
the
is
actresses.
like meeting a unicorn. I don't think like you are witnessing Sarah disliking a romantic comedy.
Okay. So what did you think about the movie?
Oh, okay, all right. I like this movie. I think this movie fits in the same universe for me as... Do you watch any Wes Anderson films? It's kind of like a watered-down Wes Anderson. Like, it's long. There's a lot of dialogue. There's kind of like a minutia to the acting performance that... I mean, for this movie, I'll admit, I got bored at one point, and I looked at my phone, and I was like, oh my god, I just went like 10 minutes, and I didn't really realize what was happening.
Nothing changed. You didn't miss anything, right?
Yeah, I don't think I missed much.
The story didn't progress.
But listen, if you enjoy Paul Rudd,
See, I love Paul Rudd.
He's like just being zany Paul Rudd for like 2 hours. Like, wow, I'm going through some emotional things, and I'm Paul Rudd, and I'm going to be a little bit zany in this movie. This is your movie. But you're not going to have like the rolling over laughing moments like Wedding Crashers.
No, I had no emotion. Like, I didn't cry. I didn't belly laugh.
You must have laughed at one point.
No, I don't think I did.
Really?
No. I mean, there was one cute moment where I was like, yeah, and that was my best scene, and I'll get into it. But even that, I was like, is that my best scene?
What about when the two buses roll up?
Oh, that was comical.
That was funny?
It was funny. Maybe
Okay.
I had a chuckle come out of my mouth.
So this
Like
movie, I agree with you. I kind of feel like in a pop music world, this movie is a Charlie Puth. Okay? Because this movie's fine. Did some fine work, in my opinion.
Oh.
But Ed Sheeran's going to tell you a better love story, right? The Weeknd's going to have better music, and Taylor Swift's going to be a bigger star. This isn't The Notebook. It's not Wedding Crashers.
No.
But I thought it was pretty good.
Did you? Yeah. Like,
Your commitment to not liking it is very impressive.
Like, it was interesting, the story was supposed to be about Lisa finding what she's going to do now that she's not a professional softball player. And I found the focus was more on who she's going to choose, George or Maddie. And she kept going back to Maddie. And honest to God, I was like, girl, like, you've walked out of that apartment building like how many times? Just leave for good. It was just like, I was like, this has nothing to do with... It's whether or not which man is listening to you talk about what you're going to do in the next phase of your life. Like, I felt bad for her character because I was like, oh my God, you couldn't have written a better script for her. And then we have George, who's literally going through a meltdown at work.
Yeah.
He is being indicted with the federal court, and he's happy-go-lucky, like nothing's like. I'm just kind of like, what is happening? We have no idea. It's bizarre.
Wow. Sarah doesn't like this movie. I actually love it.
don't.
We never get to see this, so
I know.
I'm excited about this.
I do. I am quite easy to please in terms of movies.
To really articulate that point, we have the Hallmark Christmas romantic comedy season on the way, and I think
Yes.
Sarah's already PVR and shit.
Yeah,
like
it starts
she's
at the
ready
end
to
of.
go.
I'm pretty sure don't have a specific date yet, but I'm pretty sure it starts at the end of October. Okay, so the movie starts out. Like you said, Lisa, losing her softball career, and George getting a federal court indictment about his business for inside trading, I think.
I will be completely transparent that I, at multiple times, tried to figure out what was happening with the legal action. It's also very confusing. His relationship.
Don't know because they don't explain any of it.
Right, and his relationship with his dad is also very
Weird.
confusing because his dad goes from like just totally reaming him out like, you are incompetent at your job, you caused this to happen, and then all of a sudden he's like, yeah, it was all me, buddy. Like, listen, I feel really bad for you.
I'm sorry, you're poking holes in the movie?
No, hey, listen. It's a good movie. It's fine. It's a Charlie Puth movie,
fine.
okay? It's fine.
It's fine. And they also start out with both being with somebody else. So George is with, I believe, a teacher.
I have no idea. Yeah.
I also don't know. Like, that relationship is really weird. And then Lisa is with Maddie, the pitcher from the Nationals. And she sleeps over at his house for the first time.
Maddie, the baseball player.
Maddie,
Owen
the baseball,
Wilson.
yes.
Yeah.
And their relationship is really weird. I think they're mostly friends with benefits at this point, and this is kind of where they start to take the next steps.
Well, so we establish Owen Wilson's character as being like a baseball superstar. He's a pitcher. Like, I think there's a moment where fans are trying to take pictures with him, and Lisa kind of just stomps off on her own because she's uncomfortable. She doesn't know if she wants to have sex with him or not. And can we agree that Maddie's character is very charming? There is a cute moment where he's like, I want you to make the decision, and he kind of steps away from her when they're at the door.
He can be charming at times, but then he goes into this like mansplaining mode, and I'm like, oh God, here we go. Like, I half the time liked his character, and then half the other time I was like, no.
I'm just pushing water uphill here, trying to love this movie with you. Hey, it's okay. You have opinions. That's all right. But they do end up sleeping together.
Yes.
I've got a question for you.
Okay.
So Lisa wakes up.
Yeah.
And she goes to the bathroom, and Maddie has a drawer full of toothbrushes.
Yes.
Unused. It's
That's
like
intense.
categorical.
It is.
And then he has a number of drawers of women's sweaters and kind of sweatpants in closets ranging from different shades of pink.
Mm-hmm.
And it becomes extremely evident Maddie picks up. He sleeps with a lot of women.
Yes, he does.
To the point where he has like 100 extra toothbrushes in his apartment.
Yeah.
What would you do in that scenario?
Like, I would find it a little odd. Like, I would honestly ask him, like, how many women do you bring home in a week? Because clearly I'm not the only one.
How many do we think?
Oh, I'm sure one a night.
One a night? Woo!
I would think. If
365 a year? Wow, that's impressive.
Not new people, potentially.
Oh, but every night
like,
he is not alone.
I'm sure every night he's not alone.
What is that's a pretty big F-boy red flag in my opinion.
The toothbrushes and the sweatsuits for sure. Yes.
It's kind of like demeaning. Like, oh, I got some pink sweaters for you.
It is. Well, and the color too. Like,
yeah, the fact that it's pink is like, really?
It's like these are specifically geared towards the women who sleep over.
Have you ever been at a guy's place and you saw a red flag that you're like, oh, this guy just bags a lot of girls, and I can tell because of
maybe like
blank.
A jar full of condoms?
I was actually going to bring that
right?
up.
But then it's like, oh, like you're being safe. But like at the same time, you're like, oh, this is kind of weird. Like I'm just thinking of things, right?
I'm
like
so glad you brought that up.
Like that I would think of would be a red flag.
I was once with a girl and she had like a candy bowl full of condoms by her bedside table. And I actually thought that. I'm like, oh my God, that freaks me out. And then I thought, hey, are you just being sexist, Devin? And then I thought, no, if a guy had this, that would also be a red flag.
Totally. Yeah. Well, when I was a resident advisor in university. So to make sure that my students were safe, I would have a bowl of condoms that they in my lounge where they could just come and grab them.
So you're just the condom lady of your college.
Well, I would rather that than unprotected.
Hold on.
No.
So
everyone,
just,
all the resident advisors did it.
But like, so you're saying students would just come to your room and be like, Sarah, I need a condom stat.
No, it was in the lounge.
Oh, it was in the lounge.
I
Thank
didn't
God.
know who was coming and going.
Imagine.
No, I don't want to.
Oh, Timmy, you need a condom. Okay.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Oh, let me get that for you. What kind would you like? No, have a little drawer.
Ripped for her pleasure. Good choice, Timmy.
No, that's creepy. That's way
weird.
too creepy. That's
really weird.
Really weird and creepy. Yeah, no.
Okay, continue on. Tell us what else you dislike about this movie.
Yes, so on the George side, he's being sued, and his father basically disowns him in front of him and his assistant, basically yells at him.
As every prick with half a brain who ever took advantage of you knows. Absolutely. But, Jidge, there is a bottom line here, which is because of your notions of trust and creativity. We may be inevitably forced to crawl on by some assistant U.S. attorney. And if this almost made the law review creature pins me between a choice of saving you or the company that I founded and you preside over, I may be forced to choose the company, even though doing so may break my life forever.
He's having a really good day. His girlfriend breaks up with him because he's a problem currently and says that they can only get back together when he's problem free, which is hilarious.
I will say, as soon as Jack Nicholson's character shows up, I immediately thought, like, oh my God, he's the baddie right here. There's something bad that's gonna happen in this movie. He is like what's the Arrested Development, the dad of the Bluth family. Like, you just know he's into shady shit. Yes. I can't pin it down, but there's going to be something that comes up later on. With the banana stand. Yeah, there's always money in the banana stand. And that whole relationship between George and Charles really confuses me because he goes from just being mean to his son, Paul Rudd, George.
Yes, that's the other thing.
But then he also seems to care for him at times. I don't really get it.
It is weird. And then everybody else in the company stopped talking to him except his dad. But you would think that because his dad was involved in the company, he also wouldn't be able to talk to him. Like, there's so many inconsistencies that I'm just like, this doesn't make any sense. And I don't this is ridiculous.
But,
you know?
Hey, great acting performance from Jack Nicholson.
Oh, of course.
He nailed
definitely.
it. He was great.
Like I said, the actors in this movie are phenomenal.
Catherine Hahn.
Yes.
She was great.
Oh, God, I love her.
Come on now.
Oh, my gosh. So George calls Lisa because George had gotten her number from a friend of Lisa's. And I'm sure that her friends in the softball world want her to date anybody but Maddie. You kind of get that vibe. And so George calls her and they set up a date to go, both their lives are falling apart. So why not? Let's go on a date.
But she does make it clear we're not dating. We're having
a meal.
We're having a meal together.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
And when she shows up, George is in shambles already at the table.
They go on their blind date. And that morning, actually, she had found out that she's not in the roster for this year's team. So she's also kind of falling apart.
So, yeah, both of their lives are in shambles. George is not handling it very well. He's been drinking a lot. And Lisa's kind of she's bottling it all up inside. And they have a weirdly silent
They do.
meal.
Which this part... So I think I have seen this movie. I said earlier I didn't. But for some reason, this scene I remembered.
How are you doing?
I'm great.
Yeah?
Yep.
Well, treasure it.
You okay?
No. I'm sorry. I'm not even aware that... I have to apologize. This might not be the best first impression.
Hold on. Are you about to say something you like about the movie?
No, I just remembered this scene.
We acknowledge, you remember the scene.
The acknowledgement is happening that I remember this scene. So either I saw it, and again, it was so unmemorable that I have completely forgot about it. But then this one scene, because I thought it was just hilarious that...
It's about as good as it gets, folks. Acknowledgement. Thank you.
Yes.
So you remembered it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Weirdly enough, he likes her after this.
And I think she likes him a little bit.
And I think she likes him, but then she just keeps going back to Maddie. So Maddie takes her to a party, and he's not terrible, but he's not wanting to get too close. Like, he's kind of decent in terms of, like, a boyfriend person.
It's maybe a Charlie Puth. He's kind of just...
Like, he's just there and
sure.
is a terrible listener and provides her some advice, but just enough to keep her there, you know?
Yeah.
Like, just enough love and passion and thoughtfulness just to keep her there. You know, it's not overwhelming. Whereas, like, George is so nice to her. He sits there and listens, and it's just, weird. So the next day, Maddie is at practice, I think, and he asks his friends on the team how they know when they're in love. And the one guy says he knows he's in love when he starts wearing a condom with the other girls that he's with.
That's a massive F-boy line. Okay.
Yeah. And then Maddie says, "Oh my God, I'm in love."
I think I'm
like, what? Is that what you're doing? It must be.
Did you not laugh at that? That's funny.
Okay, I did find this funny.
In a very misogynistic way, I guess. Well, I've got a question, though. So, Maddie is a baseball player. Maddie is Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Let's play the game of what are the only sports that you could convince me that Owen Wilson plays? Because he's not a very athletic-looking guy.
No, okay.
And I've got the top 7 answers on the board. And you at home listening, you can play along. What sport could you reasonably believe Owen Wilson plays?
Golf.
Oh, that's our number 4 answer. Good job, Sarah. He does look
Ding,
like a
ding,
golfer.
ding.
Yeah.
Polo player.
Oh, we didn't
Like
have
not
that on
water
the board.
polo, but like
Horseback riding.
Horseback riding.
That was not on the board, but that's a good guess, though. I like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is baseball in there?
Yeah, baseball's number 1 because
Okay.
he's this isn't the first movie he's talked about being a baseball player.
Okay.
Wedding Crashers, do you remember? I mean, he's lying to everybody, but he tells them that he's a
Yes.
baseball player.
Okay.
So you got the number 1 and number 4 answers.
Okay, yes,
That's
yes.
good.
I'm coming up with them. Could he be a rower?
Okay, here's the thing, Sarah. That's our number 2 answer, but there's an asterisk beside it.
Why?
Because he couldn't just be a rower. Rowers are very athletic. Specifically, there is something called a coxswain.
Yes.
You know when you're watching the Olympics and there's that one rower who's not actually rowing, they're just standing at the front of the boat yelling at all the rowers?
Yes. He's
That
calling
would
it?
be his role.
Okay.
So you got the number 1, 2, and 4 answers, Sarah. Good job.
I know. Okay, what's the one that I'm missing?
So number 3,
Yeah.
he could be a curler.
Oh, he could be a curler.
He could be a curler.
Yes.
Number
yes.
5,
Yeah.
he could be a NASCAR driver.
Oh, he could. Yep. mhm.
Number 6, he could be an archer. He could be in archery.
He could be in archery. Okay.
And number 7, he could be in fencing.
Oh, that's a really good one. Okay, those are really good.
Hey, you got 1, 2, and 4. Good job to
Well,
you.
there's only like when you say something that's not overly like physically athletic, because I would like to say all sports are athletic. You have to have some sort of athleticism. Political Sarah. However, these are the lower end of athleticism required to do the sport. So that's why I feel like I nailed it.
I'm so happy when we get to meet Political Sarah. Comes out once an episode for sure.
Usually.
Like there's almost a drinking
I don't
game
mean
for
to. And so from here, after the chat with his friends, he decides to ask Lisa to move in. And she for some reason does. I don't know why she does.
I think her life's kind of spiraling in a strange direction. She doesn't know where she's going. She's been kicked off the softball team. And hey, here's Maddie, and he has a lot of good character traits, I guess. He's here. He's present.
There.
Yeah,
definitely.
he's there.
Yeah. So she sublets her apartment and moves in with him. And then George gets a new apartment. And we get to see his assistant, Catherine Hahn, again. And she comes over and wants to tell him something about the court case. But again, we know nothing of it because she doesn't get to tell him because George just avoidingly walks away and tries to tell her not to tell him. So we still don't know what's going on. Yay.
But he's trying not to incriminate her.
Totally.
Which is
no.
a noble thing to do.
George is a great guy. I love George. In this movie, I love George. Yes. And so George and Lisa, George is heading to see his father and Lisa's going back home because Maddie and George's father live in the same apartment building.
Yes.
And so they run into each other in the elevator, and George kindly brings Lisa's groceries up to her apartment and he meets Maddie. And Maddie gets super jelly and says that she should have asked beforehand because it's his place. And this is the first storm out that Lisa has out of the apartment, and she leaves Maddie. And this is where my favorite scene is. This is my best scene.
Wow, how is this your best scene?
When Maddie calls down to the doorman and asks the doorman to go and chase down Lisa and tell her to come back up. And George just needs a win. He just needs a win. And George tells Lisa that she can come to his house and that, it's an hour and 45 minutes away by bus. But she agrees. And he just stands at the bus stop and just like puts his fists up in the air and goes, yes, yeah. Like he just needed that win, you know?
That was your best scene.
Yeah. And because I basically love the doorman. He gets an honorable mention.
There are much better scenes in this movie, and we're going to get to them shortly.
No, there are not.
There definitely are. But now Lisa's going over to George's house. Apartment.
His new apartment, yeah. When she gets there, her phone's dead, so she doesn't get the hundreds and hundreds of messages that Maddie leaves for her.
A little bit unhealthy, maybe.
Yeah, and he's so annoying, and he gives her a deadline to call him or come back by. Like, okay, gaslighter. Like,
Sarah has so many problems with Maddie in this movie. Wait, is it Maddie that your problem is with this movie?
No, like there's a lot wrong with this. The plot line in this movie is thin.
All right. I'm trying to find some wins here. At least you like that last scene. That's good. Hey,
yes,
we're gonna build on that.
I do. At least I have a best scene in this movie.
You got a best scene, all right.
Which you don't agree is a best scene.
There are better scenes out there. We're gonna get to one shortly.
Perhaps. And then so Lisa's able to kind of chat with George while they're there. They get drunk together, and he is a great listener. He just sits there and listens to her, babble on about what she's going to do with her life, which is exactly what she needed from Maddie, but he never gave that to her because he's too self-absorbed.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
I think he fell into this is like a classic guy line. Like married guys say this a lot. Where like when women complain about things, they don't want you to fix it. They just want you to listen. Is that sexist to say? I don't know if that's sexist or not.
Well, I think it's in any relationship, right? Like when you're having a bad day, you want your person to listen to you.
Yeah.
And just to listen. And sometimes you just don't need advice. And I think that's not necessarily just like with a husband and wife. Like it could be with anybody. Like, if you're single and you have a best friend, sometimes you just need them to listen to you.
Yeah. Jessica was the worst at work. They don't want you to say like, okay, what are we going to do to Jessica? It's just like, okay, well, what did she do? Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Oh, nice.
Yeah. They just want you to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Observation though, they are both going through shit. She says that she's good at this one thing, but honestly, like when you compare the two, Lisa and George, of what they're going through, I'm sorry, but he is going through a lot more than she is.
Fair enough.
Like, I'm sorry. Oh no, you're now not a professional softball player, which is in and of itself, like if that's your whole life, yes, that would be quite a new ride, and your whole entire world is being flipped upside down. But on the other side, like George is like being indicted by the federal court. Like the issues where they try to make them seem kind of on par, like they're both going through so much. And it's like one is so much bigger than the other. I just don't get it.
And also like for an athlete, like no, I think every athlete needs to be aware there's an expiration date on your career. Unless you're Tom frickin' Brady.
Oh my God, yeah.
There's going to come a time where you're not fast enough, right? And is this, at this point in the movie, has George figured out that his dad is...
Yes. So Maddie calls Lisa while she's still at George's place and wrote down saying, this is another issue I have, where he says, I wrote something down on a piece of paper, and Lisa goes, okay, well, tell me what it is. And he says, I went nuts when you left. I broke a lamp. She says, oh, okay, like, go on. And he said, no, that's what I wanted to say to you.
And then they show the piece of paper where that's all he actually wrote down.
And then she goes back to him. I'm like, what?
Not the most impassioned speech, I'll give you that.
And like, why? Why are you going back to him? He broke a lamp because you left. And then we find out in the next scene, George finds out that his father did do it.
You pay a toll in the Mideast, no matter what the country is. If you want to sell in Egypt, you go there. You rent an office.
Stop shouting. I don't hear you when you do that, ever.
You go there, you rent an office. It's hard not to yell. You go there and you bribe an Egyptian. That is what I did. Like everybody does.
The Cole's notes of the story is, yes, Charles did do it, and he was trying to let his son take the fall, and he explained, listen, I've already had some run-ins with the law. The thing is, you might spend 3 years in jail, whereas I might be put away for life because of this sort of thing.
That's not a good excuse.
Let your son
Let
go
your
to prison?
son go take the fall.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
Yeah, you're right. It's probably not very
again,
good.
like, what?
And this is the thing that I don't get. We're led to believe that George is fully at fault with everything that happened.
Yeah, because we don't get any information.
Right. So now George and Charles have this conversation, and George is like, okay, I'll try to figure out how I feel about this. And then he kind of leaves, and it's like, wait, I thought, okay, so like, what's going to happen now? I don't understand. I thought you were still at fault. Whether like Charles did this stuff or not, you're still a big part of the company. Aren't you still liable? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he would have to turn in his father.
Yeah.
Or his father would turn himself in. I don't know. Yeah.
Regardless, we're at the
Weird.
stage where George is at a decision point. He could decide if he takes the fall, or he could just throw it all on his dad, who is actually the guilty party.
Yeah, absolutely. And then on Lisa's front, Maddie is going out of town, which again is not that bad. But Maddie's going out of town, and Lisa finds him busy texting and asks him if they're monogamous. If they're monogamous. If they're monogamous.
Monogamous.
If they're monogamous.
Yes.
And
we're leaving all this in. Yes, no, that's hilarious. Keep going, though.
And he's not.
Well, he doesn't want to label anything, Sarah. He just wants to keep it open, but he loves her. Isn't that enough?
No. And so this is the second time that she walks out of the apartment.
Yeah.
And leaves him again.
I find when we go, you're right. When we go to the George and Charles conversations, it's like, wow, you could be going to jail for life or whatever. And then they're like, I don't know, I kind of want to sleep with other people. And she's like, what? You want to sleep with other people?
I'm leaving. And she runs out of the apartment. And I'm
very
like,
superficial issues they have. Yeah.
Right. So Lisa goes over to George's place again, and they call each other, which this was a cute scene.
This is my best scene.
Okay, do you want to talk about it?
This is such a cute scene. So George, it's late at night. George is at his apartment, and he gets a call from Lisa, and they're chatting, and he can, the thing where you hear the echo of the voice.
Yeah.
And he kind of leans his head out the window, and he sees that Lisa is actually calling from downstairs at his apartment. And he's watching her, and he doesn't say anything. And this is...
we made an indefinite plan to hang out, so I just thought I'd nail it down. Schedule my week.
Well, anytime. Though soon would be advisable.
I guess it's too late for tonight.
No, not at all.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for a call from my friend in case she has her baby tonight. But, we can deal with that if it happens.
Yeah, we can deal with that. Or what the heck? Let's just give it a shot. So I could be there in less than 30 minutes.
Good.
Although, this time of night it could be sooner.
What would you do? I think I would call her out on it. Be like, yo, I can see you down there. Like, just effing come in the house. Come in the apartment.
That's a good question. I would probably not make them stand there for a half an hour.
Exactly.
That's what was she gonna do? Just stand there twiddling her thumbs?
Well, yeah, she kind of walks away, and we're led to believe she just milled about for 20 minutes and then decided, okay, I'm gonna magically come up now.
Yeah, that was weird. I probably would be like, hey, oh my gosh, I can see you. Oh yeah, you're here. I don't know. It was probably to save face for her, not to make her feel awkward.
But then he opens the door and she says, I can't do this, and she walks away and she reveals to him, I actually called you from downstairs. And George's character says, yeah, I know. I just didn't want to make you feel weird about it.
I know. It's so cute.
He's such a compassionate guy.
I will say, that was a cute scene. You heard it here first.
Wow.
Yeah. The first one, yep.
What do we got next?
His assistant has her baby.
Catherine Hahn's
all
character.
10 pounds of it. And George and Lisa go to see them. And when Catherine answers the phone, the hospital phone in the bedroom, that it's the baby daddy. And says, it says to the baby, you're going to meet your dad soon. And George's father walked in. I almost died. I was like,
yeah. So Lisa and George are at the hospital. They've met the baby. They're having a great moment with Catherine. She says the baby daddy's walking in right now. And in walks Charles, George's father.
Yeah.
Oh, dear God.
Oh, my
Jack
God.
Nicholson is the father.
Yes. And then the real dad walks in. Hallelujah.
And then I can't remember Catherine Hahn's character's name. Do you know?
I don't know. If
Doesn't
she has
matter.
one.
Okay. Immemorable. But she has a quick moment with George, in a sidebar. It says, did you think it was your dad? And he's like, yeah, I did. And they both have a little chuckle over it.
Yes.
Because it is funny. This was almost in the running for my best scene as well.
So I agree, because the proposal in the hospital room was very cute. So Catherine Hahn's baby daddy does propose to her.
So he tells George, Paul Rudd's character, hey, grab the camera. I'm going to do this.
I actually laughed during this one. I remember it.
Thank you.
Yes, this was a good one.
George has the camera, and the baby daddy gives out this really impassioned speech about how much he loves her and how important she is to him. And it's really quite beautiful, and it's this big overarching thing. And then they both turn to George. They're like, wow, did you get all that? George is like, oh my God, I wasn't recording the whole thing. And they freak out. They're like, how could you? What are you talking about? And then, but this was actually really funny. both Lisa and George, they kind of come together and they're like, and then you said, and they recreate that moment while they're recording, which the recording of this is going to be horrible. It's so stupid. There's even a moment, this is bad, there's a moment where I noticed that Lisa's character would have stepped into the frame of the re-proposal, which I was like, don't get that close to him. Oh my God, you're in the frame now. But in some ways, they're kind of telling each other these things. You know, like I mean, George is telling it to Lisa, and Lisa's telling it to George, even though they're recreating the proposal between the assistant and the baby daddy. It's really them having this moment now.
It is.
It's beautiful.
It is cute.
Wow.
Yes. Okay, two scenes, 3 scenes, you know. And so during this time, I don't know when it happened, but Lisa and Maddie are back together. Did you know that this is all the same night, and now they're back together. Maddie's throwing her a birthday party.
Yeah, I remember when I said I started looking at my phone. It was around now. I kind of lost some...
And George asks her if he can go, and she says, yeah, sure.
So now we get to we get to the decision point of the movie.
Yes, the ultimatum.
George approaches his dad, Charles, right before the birthday party, and he says, listen, Dad, you know, if I thought there was something in this life that, you know, I couldn't walk away from, if there was true love in my grasp, I couldn't possibly, you know, tempt fate and go to jail when I knew this great life was just ahead of me. So I'm about to go upstairs and I'm going to meet a girl because remember they live in the same apartment.
Yeah.
I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going to ask her if there's some potential here. If there is, I'm not taking the fall for you and you're going to jail, Dad.
Yeah, why are you taking the fall for him in the first place?
Right,
God.
Which is like,
anyway.
Dude, Jack Nicholson's like in his 70s. You don't need to take that, maybe even older. I have no idea how
Life's not going to be that long.
The guy can go to jail for 30-year-old Paul Rudd. I have no idea of ages in this movie. Anyway, that's the ultimatum. So he goes upstairs and he gets there early for the birthday party, and there's a scene with Maddie and Lisa, Owen Wilson and Reese Witherspoon. He's kind of proposing but not proposing. He gifts her this...
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Unreal
Beautiful
watch.
Yeah, beautiful diamond watch for her birthday.
Would you actually wear that watch anywhere?
Yeah, probably.
Because that's what Lisa remarks. She's like, I don't know when I'd ever wear this.
Well, I mean, if you're dating like a professional baseball player, you'd probably be going out to fancy things, right? So I guess you could wear it there. But he can't even let her open it herself.
Right. She takes her time opening things.
Yeah. Oh
Much like
God,
everything in this movie. It takes like 5 minutes too long. She takes forever to open this thing.
And they're engaged to be engaged, which is ridiculous. Oh, my dad did the same thing with my mom, and in 7 years they were engaged. And I was like, are you going to marry her in 7 years? You're going to propose to her in 7 years? Good God.
Did anybody listening notice Sarah dropping those hints, by the way, just now?
What?
Where I said, hey, don't you think that watch is obnoxious? And Sarah's like, no, I don't know. I could use a watch like that.
No,
like,
are you kidding me?
We all picked up those hints, Sarah.
Oh
wow.
my God.
Not subtle at all.
Yes.
I noticed.
Well, and then...
I could use a diamond encrusted watch, yeah.
I think you're dropping a hint right now to me.
I thought
about
you were going to be like, no,
man's
that's a stupid
diamond
watch.
encrusted watch. Okay, it's a lot. I don't have anywhere to wear it.
Yeah.
And then George takes her aside and gives her his gift, which is Play-Doh. Because
she
of
takes
the
her time
story.
opening
Oh,
it,
she takes
and he
a really
allows her to take her
yes.
time, and she even remarks, "Thank you for letting me take my time." So the idea is that Play-Doh used to be goop to clean your fireplace chimneys.
So as gas and electric heating came in, there was no longer a need for the cleaning goo. So the guy was going under. But his sister-in-law, who was a nursery school teacher.
Now, is this a true story?
The man's name was Joe McVicker. His sister-in-law was Kay Zufall. So Kay Zufall discovered that her little kids liked squeezing the goo a lot more than hard modeling clay. So she suggested to her brother-in-law, Joe, that they color this stuff and call it Play-Doh.
That was also another cute. Okay, so there's like 4 scenes that I like in this movie. I'll give it that.
Wow.
And then he also brings her aside again, which I'm like, why didn't you tell her while you were out at table.
I know, it's like 20 seconds later. We could have made this way more efficient.
Like this could have been so much more efficient. He tells her that he needs to speak with her and that he'll be waiting at the bus stop for a while if she if she wants to come out and talk to him. And she actually breaks up with Maddie and then goes to see George. Yay!
Hey, we've found love, and there's a
Finally!
There's a scene where George's dad, Charles, Jack Nicholson, he
yeah.
leans out the window and he's watching his son just kind of sitting there on a bench, and then he sees the girl come out, Lisa, and he sees them embrace.
And he smiles, and then he realizes
that he's going to jail.
Yeah. He's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And then they're sitting on the bench and they're talking. Do you think they could love each other at the end of this movie? Like
Are you asking the question? Could they love each other?
So like they're sitting there and he says like, oh, like I love you, and like at the
you mean like that?
Yeah, at the end of this movie, like, do you think by the end of this movie, through everything, that they could love each other, like that they could say it at that point? No, I don't think so. No.
Listen, I don't want to give you a win because I know you're torpedoing this movie, but I agree. Yeah, it was like, really, you're gonna say that you've physically seen each other like 4 times.
Yeah.
How can you love somebody?
A silent meal. Helping groceries.
You got drunk off Guinness one night. You went over to your assistant's baby's like birthday thing.
Lots of big events, but anyway.
Big events, but yeah, a little too early to say the I love you.
And it kind of just, it just ends. We don't know what happens with her softball shift and what she's going to do with the rest of her life. I mean, she kind of mentions it here and there throughout the movie, but the bigger thing is that we don't know what happens with, like, we can assume that Charles goes to jail, but we don't get to know anything else. Nothing.
Oh, Sarah hates loose ends. We've got millions of them in this movie.
Lots of them, yes.
I'm going to close up one loose end.
Okay.
In my what should have been.
Okay.
So don't worry about that one.
Thank you.
Are we on to quick facts?
We are.
Let's do it.
To date, this is the last movie to star Jack Nicholson and the last movie directed by James L. Brooks.
Wow, Jack Nicholson has done nothing since.
Yes. It could be because of this movie. I don't know. This is the 4th movie that they've done together. The director and Jack Nicholson. James L. Brooks worked on this movie for over 5 years. That's how long it took. Catherine Hahn and Tiona Paris both appeared in WandaVision in 2021.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Paul Rudd, Catherine Hahn, and Owen Wilson have all appeared in movies or limited series based on Marvel Comics. This is one of the lesser-known big box office bombs of all time. The budget spiraled up to $120 million due to high salary demands of its principal, cast, and director, a lengthy production, and costly reshoots for the beginning and the ending. The movie lost an estimated $105 million.
Lost $105 million.
Yes.
For example, I did a little bit of research on this. Definitely Maybe, for example, I feel like is kind of in the same realm of like a B+ romantic comedy.
Better, yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It had a cost of $7 million to make.
Wow.
So comparatively, this one somehow lost you $100 million.
Yep.
How's that possible?
I don't know. I there's really not enough in the movie to let me know. Like, I don't know what they spent it on.
Right?
Like, clearly the salaries. That would have been it.
I was going to say it must be the salaries.
Yeah. Catherine Hahn spent 3 days filming the scene where her character gives birth. In the early morning after completing the shoot, she herself, being pregnant in real life, went into labor with her daughter May. 2 months later, Catherine would go back to complete filming the scene. Reese Witherspoon practiced playing softball for 2 to 3 hours every day for months to be able to be a convincingly great player. However, there's only about 20 seconds of her playing the sport on screen.
I was about to say, I only can think of one scene where she actually throws and or catches a ball.
Yeah.
And she immediately gets hit in the face with the ball.
Yes, which has happened to me, and it sucks. Oh my gosh.
Thank you for
really
putting in all
sucks.
that extra work, Reese Witherspoon.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, the hours and hours of practicing. The part of Lisa was specifically written for Reese Witherspoon, and the movie was shipped to theaters under the name List After List. Bill Murray was in talks to play the role of Charles, but he eventually turned it down.
I could see that.
Reese Witherspoon and Paul Rudd were voice actors in Monsters vs. Aliens in 2009, and their characters were love interests in that movie too.
Oh.
They both also appeared in the movie Overnight Delivery together in 1998. In this movie, Reese Witherspoon's character is in a romantic relationship with Owen Wilson. In 2001, when she played the role of Elle Woods in Legally Blonde, she was in a romantic relationship with Luke Wilson's character. Luke Wilson is Owen Wilson's brother. Catherine Hahn and Paul Rudd would reunite in the movies Wanderlust in 2021 and Our Idiot Brother in 2011. Reese Witherspoon and Owen Wilson appeared in the movie Inherent Vice together in 2014.
And now we're on to honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. My honorable mention was The Doorman.
Oh my God, really?
Yes, I told you that. No, and Paul Rudd. I just love him.
Oh yeah, Paul Rudd gets an honor. I don't have an honorable mention for this one.
Wow.
I have a good what should have been, though.
Okay, hit me. Hit me with what should have been.
I think we all know how this movie is supposed to end because
Okay.
Owen Wilson's character, Maddie,
Yeah.
that's not his real name.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to tell you a story here.
Okay.
His real name is John Beckwith.
Oh, fancy.
Familiar with the name?
No.
You are.
Oh, okay.
So remember at the beginning of the movie, Wedding Crashers,
Oh,
one of the
yes.
lies that the character John Beckwith uses
Yeah.
when he's trying to pick up girls is he says he is a Major League Baseball player. I think he says he's a member of the New York Yankees. Sound familiar?
Yes.
Yeah. He pretends to be a baseball player in this movie. The only time we see him in baseball mode is he's in a dugout. I don't know if that's real or not. We never even see
my God.
Owen Wilson throw a pitch or anything. So how do you know I'm predicting is set in the same universe and is the prequel to The Wedding Crashers? Our boy Matty is a sham. That's a lie. He's actually John Beckwith from Wedding Crashers. He will eventually end up with Rachel McAdams. Claire Cleary.
Wow.
That's how it all
The
goes out.
only hitch in that story is that
This movie was like 7 years after Wedding Crashers. I thought
yes,
about that.
yes, definitely. But that Maddie or John, as you're saying, is kind of a dick in this movie.
Yeah.
And he's not a dick in Wedding Crashers.
Well, sometimes you gotta be.
Does he turn a new leaf?
He turns a new leaf, but not a total new leaf because he's still sleeping around, just like his character Maddie in this one.
Yeah,
is
but
as well.
just this time now with condoms because he's in love.
Right? Yes, exactly. And now we're on to rewatchability.
Yes. Okay, so my rewatchability is as follows. Chemistry, 3. Storyline, 1.75. Thirst factor.
1.75. Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
Thirst factor, 4.5. Imagination, 2. Soundtrack, 1. Cheese, 2. For an overall score of 2.38 out of 5.
Oof.
Yep.
That's a major oof.
I know. I felt bad, but I can't stop now, you know? Can't go back.
Okay, so I had chemistry 2.5, storyline 3, thirst factor 2.5, imagination a 4, soundtrack. I thought it was fairly imaginative.
For what? How?
It was interesting. We've got a legal battle on one side. We've got a girl who's a softball player turning to baseball, like a baseball star.
Okay, I could pick a hole, honestly, but you can keep going.
It's imaginative.
No.
Soundtrack 2, cheese 3 for an overall score of 2.8 out of 5. A little bit higher.
A little bit higher.
Middle of the road.
I still don't understand how you have a 4 out of like that. We're talking like the 5 is like the bee's knees, the cat's meow.
Thought
and
it
you're
was
saying that it
interesting.
has a 4?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
And this has been the Rom-Com Rewind of How Do You Know? Actually, I've got a question. This movie reminded me of another one, just because it's Reese Witherspoon.
Mm-hmm.
Is Cruel Intentions a romantic comedy? This isn't just a question for you. This is a question for our listener.
Okay.
Because I think if you're saying, hey, Lizzie McGuire movie is a rom-com, come on.
Yes, it is.
The Parent Trap is a rom-com, really?
Yes, it is.
I think Cruel Intentions should get a nod. We
right.
should take a look at it, at least. Slide into our DMs,
Yes,
please.
let us know. Let us know if Cruel Intentions is a rom-com.
If you're listening to us on Spotify, throw us a follow, subscribe at Apple Podcasts, and you can reach out on Instagram or TikTok at Romcom Rewind.
Thanks for listening.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.